Hey, Nathan here, helping you become a better jungler. This is my Nunu guide for Season 10. It's going to be very in-depth, very practical. The purpose of this guide is to make sure that when you walk away from this video, you have a very good idea or understanding of how to play Nunu most effectively. So let's jump into this here. We'll start with a table of contents. Also, this video guide is going to be a mixture of presentation slides and gameplay, which will be littered throughout as we move through these topics. So starting off with some background info here. This is going to be context and information that I used to make this guide. Rune, skill order, item build, standard things for League of Legends champion guides. Then moving into champion select. So this is going to be all about when Nunu's best to pick, what you should be avoid picking him into, and also what you should be avoid picking him with. We'll then move into how to use your W, your Snowball ability. This is probably the most important section of this guide. Your champion identity around Nunu is really your W, your Snowball ability. Then move into jungle pass, the lock-in mindset, playing from behind example. I love to include these in my guides. I did it in my recent Zing guide as well, and feedback from that was pretty positive. So doing that again here, and then we'll move into the Q&A section. I did ask on my channel in my community section what questions you had around Nunu, so that's the section that I'm going to be answering those in. Also, we are going to be getting an extra 4 live gameplay videos of me playing Nunu. This is where I'll be talking you through everything in this guide that I'm implementing in real time throughout games. Going to be in a range of different elos. I'll show potentially in a normal game, low elo like silver, gold, and in diamond, or even on my master account in master tier games. Also, if you want to continue the discussion around Nunu, or you've just come to my channel, there will be a Nunu section in my Discord. If you want to join that, the link to join is there, nathanmott.dg/discord. Okay, so background info. So to make this guide, I played 31 consecutive Nunu games in a span of 3 days. All these games were played on patch 10.6, 10.7, played on my Diamond 3 account in OCE, and ended total with a 65% win rate, 20 wins, 11 losses. So these are the games here. This is the account. So we'll be actually revisiting this OPGG a bunch of times throughout this guide when we start talking about runes and item builds and champions good and bad with. So these were all the games here. So as you can see, I literally blind picked Nunu every single game just to test things out to make this guide. So these were all the games. Started off actually pretty well. Got a bunch of a couple losses through it, but overall I was pretty actually happy with the outcome of this guide, especially my gameplay to make this guide. And also I think that, I'll also say as well, I think that Nunu actually is a pretty good solo queue champion for, he's not, I wouldn't necessarily, I'll talk this again more later in the champion select section, but you can definitely carry games with Nunu. A 65% win rate speaks for itself. I'm definitely not getting carried these games. I'm definitely making a huge impact. So we'll talk again about that later in the guide, but I think Nunu is actually a very good champion as of right now, especially in terms of a tank in solo queue. Next is runes. So as you can see, we have Aftershock here, and then domination or precision. So these are the secondary trees. You're going to have 2 options you're going to go. First, talking about Aftershock, I think Aftershock is just a really good rune for Nunu, the best rune. There actually was a time last season where I thought Predator potentially was the best way to go, but Aftershock actually got some changes in Season 10, I think it was pre-season, where it really complements building tank and tank stats a lot more than the old Aftershock. So I think it just makes you incredibly beefy, makes you in those skirmishes just unkillable tank, and also that extra damage is also very nice as well. Really complements how you want to be using your Snowball, which again I'll be talking about later in the video. So that's why this video is going to be always talking about Aftershock Nunu, and these are the runes that I go. So starting off with the domination secondary tree, so actually first starting with resolve, the actual runes you go there. So Aftershock, obviously. Demolish, so I actually started off playing Nunu with Font of Life, and obviously Font of Life is very good for those skirmishes, getting that little extra heal off when you mark them. But once I switched to Demolish, I really like the feel of it. I love coming into a lane, ganking, getting a turret plate, backing off straight away, doing an objective farm in your camps or base in. But the big thing as well is when you get to like mid-later game, the Demolish, I felt like, made a really big difference in terms of, let's say if we ace someone, we want to get a tower or 2, then we want to back off and get an objective. the demolish really prevented like overstays, us like committing to a tower and then like we mess up like an extra 5 seconds or so, and then that gives the enemy team room to either take a baron, contest an objective, or literally just like ace us or something like that. So I feel like that this really helped in terms of mid-later game stages, but also early game instead of when you're starting to really chip away towers. So I really like the feel of it, but I also see here you still can switch out for Font of Life. I still think it's very good. Maybe in lower elos where you're fighting a bit more, it's good, but all this guide, I really like Demolish. Conditioning, I always went in this tree. I never switched out to bone plating. I don't think that the bone plating mindset makes much sense for Nunu. So this is more what you take against sort of like assassin-ish champs, like, or let's say if you're in a struggling early matchup, let's say Lee Sin or Elise in the early game. But the gist of it is you really want to be avoiding those champs anyway. I feel like bone plating is not going to really make the difference, and I just love the scaling from conditioning. And again, I'll be talking about the scaling in terms of the lock-in mindset. So I think conditioning works really well. Obviously you're building tank stats, going to make you really tanky later in the game. Revitalize synergizes so well with Nunu off his heals, off his Q. And then that combined with, and this is why I love the domination secondary tree, with Ravenous Hunter complements the even more healing, plus Revitalize, plus your Q. But the big one here is actually Cheap Shot. I really like the damage feel on Cheap Shot, just that extra 2 damage. Nunu sort of, especially in the early game, Nunu sort of lacks damage in terms of early game until he gets sort of like the Cinder Hulk. So I feel like Cheap Shot really made a difference in my early ganks and helped me starting to get into starting to snowball and starting to really do some serious damage where you might not be expecting a tank to be doing that much damage. So I really like Cheap Shot. I went these runes most of the time. So every time I'll go into a game, these are my runes, and then I'll switch out to, I'll talk about in a second, the next tree if certain circumstances would call for it. So 23 out of 31 games, which was pretty significant. Also switch out armor for magic resist if you feel like you are against, if you are against an AP-ish team or an AP jungle plus mid. Let's say if you're versing like Echoes or Karthus or something in the jungle, it's good to switch out just to magic resist there. So pretty much always attack speed is going to help your jungle clearing a lot. Adaptive here, I mean, I have seen some Nunus take armor and magic resist here as well to get more tanky, but I just don't think like you need it. Again, this helps your early gank so much. And early ganks as Nunu are still going to be very important. Again, I'll be talking about that later in the guide. So the other option here was the Precision Tree Secondary. So all same runes here. Again, Demolish, but you can switch out to Font of Life. This is Triumph and the Tenacity build. So I would go this if I'm looking to build Ninja Tubs and I'm against a lot of CC. So this is great for champions against like Pyke and stuff like that, as well as other AD champs. And I went these only 8 out of the 31 games, but I found these runes very effective in these games, especially the fact that I'm not going to be building Mercury Treads. I still want the tenacity. I don't want just to be locked down. I don't want to be just slowed walking at people. I still want to be very annoying to deal with for the enemy team, be able to peel my teammates. So tenacity is very handy there. Going into my specific game just to look at when I decided to take these runes. So some examples. So Ravenous, as you can see, most games, this is the rune build that I'd always go. And then let's just take a look at when I decided to go Precision. So this game here I went Precision against a Zed Jax. This is pretty heavy CC comp, but I still want to build Ninja Tubs for the Callista, the Zed, and the Jax. So that's why I wanted to take Precision here. Next one here, Precision, I was against Ezreal Pantheon here. Diana Elise. I mean, actually, this game I could have gone Ravenous Hunter, but I actually decided to go Precision. But I felt like the real damage threats were going to be Ezreal Pantheon, and I actually wanted to use Graves. I wanted to fight top 2v2 with my Graves, use him as a potential win condition. So I went this here, but again, I think this could have been a good, fun Ravenous game. This one here, I was against Riven, Silas, Varus. This TF actually I think went ADTF, but obviously a lot of CC in this comp. Want to take the Tenacity there. This game against Camille Misfortune. Obviously there's 8 magic damage here, but again, I wanna get the Ninja Tubs here, so then I'm versing like a lot of CC here. Thresh, Rise, especially Fiddlesticks, Camille, Tenacity here, but I also again want to build Ninja Tubs in this game, because if I build Merc Treads into this comp, Rise and Camille, Misfortune and Camille, I'm gonna have definitely a hard time into. Another example here, Nocturne, Lucian, Lux CC, Zac CC, Cass CC, Nox CC. Want to build Ninja Tarbs? Take Precision. This game here, Morg. Oh, this was probably a Ravenous Hunter game. I think this is when I started testing out those runes just in general. This one definitely Morgana, Senna, Yas, Graves, Darius. Definitely want to build Tarbs here, but I want the tenacity for Morgana and Senna. What else do we have here? This game here, same thing, Ninja Tarbs against a Lee Sin. Teemo, I mean, he's AP, but sort of not going to be really fighting around him. My game plan was that game. Senna, Poppy, a lot of CC here, but definitely want to take the Ninja Tarbs. So yeah, that's sort of just examples there, sort of showing you when I decided to go for the Aftershock plus Precision secondary. Again, around building Ninja Tarbs, then you don't need to worry about tenacity on Merc Dreads. Skill order. Start Q, max that first. It's your main source of jungle clearing and sustain. Helps you secure the objectives very quickly. Also is a pretty big damage source ability in terms of skirmishing team fights. Always max that first. Really good ability. Then W, then E, and then you want to be skilling up R at level 6, 11, and 16, obviously. Which is your big absolute zero ability. Moving into item builds now for Nunu. This is going to depend entirely on the type of support champion that you're playing with in your team, and that is whether you're playing with a tank support or a non-tank support. So tank supports, champs like Leona, Braum, Thresh, and non-tank supports like mage supports. I mean, Pike also counts as a non-tank support. Reason being is purely around this item, Knight's Vow. So Knight's Vow is a very cost-effective, very good item with its unique passive link-in active, which you really need on your team, especially with these sort of AD champs. Like for example, this game I decided to build Knight's Vow with Misfortune Riven. Want to be Knight's Vow in my Misfortune ideally, and again, Morgana's not going to be building that item. So really Nunu is sort of a support slash tank type champion. At the end of the day, this is going to help you, and I just feel really tanky with it as well. I love the build, the Kindle Gem plus Chain Vest. By the time I get this item, and if I'm ahead, I'm very, very tanky, I still feel. Looking into this here, and there's also a conversation around building Barmy Cinder before Skirmisher Saber. So I prefer going Skirmisher Saber just straight up. The damage you get from Skirmisher Saber, obviously when you smite it, versus Barmy Cinder, in terms of ganking, I think it's much better than Barmy Cinder. Obviously Barmy Cinder is good for when you're just on top of someone, but the way you're ganking, like, you shouldn't be in there long enough for Barmy Cinder to really be effective. So really like this better going Skirmisher Saber, especially for early ganks, and you still need to be getting early ganks off. So it just felt better than going Barmy Cinder. I always go this every item first, then I'll build Barmy Cinder, then Cinder Hulk, and then as you can see, Knight's Vow, and then I build into these items here. Deadman's, I think, is an exceptional item on Nunu. It helps complement when you W, give you that extra move speed, but also the damage. The damage of Deadman's combined with Cheap Shot plus your Aftershock, like all the runes, everything combined, you actually do significant amounts of damage as Nunu. Like, you'll be surprised compared to maybe, especially in terms of the mid game, you can actually just straight up solo people. So I think Deadman's is a very good item there, complements it. All this is very situational, whether you're versing heavy AD, heavy AP. I'll probably go Deadman's most games. And then Spirit Visage, I will be going if I'm saying against a heavy AP team. Adaptive Helm is also very good in terms of building against sort of sustained damage team comps like Cassio and stuff like that. But I think Spirit Visage in general is also just very good item. Again, complements his Q. But also if you have a healing support like a Soraka as well, I think Spirit Visage is a great item to go. And also sort of last items, you can build Randuins and stuff. But I mean, games shouldn't be going that long. I think that's fine. So going back to option 1, and this is with a tank support, so obviously my Thresh here is going to be building Knight's Vow, so I literally just launch the Deadman's here into Spirit Visage, and then again these are all going to be situational. Again, always building Skirmisher Saber first. I like to build sort of like boots after. Actually no, that sort of depends on the gold that you back. Like I mean ideally if you can buy Barmy Cinder straight next, then I'll skip boots. So these are just some examples of item builds there to sort of help you with the thought process, whether you go option 1 with the tank support and option 2 with a non-tank support. Champion select. When is Nunu best to pick? Now, this is a really important section of the guide. Nunu is a champion that I found from these 30 games where champion selects can literally dictate whether a game's super easy, you can close it out super clean, or it becomes literally hard, almost impossible to win purely based on the champions that you have on your team or are against. So this is very important. And I absolutely would follow this criteria. Blind picking Nunu into certain comps, I just felt absolutely just very impossible. So Nunu, let's start with what Nunu is very good with. So Nunu in general is very good with, as you can see the trend here, these are all AD champs with strong early laning phases, some with good engage, and also mid lane here as well. Yas is a very good combo. Yas and Zed I really love in the mid lane with Nocturne. Obviously Yas complements when you knock up W, he can ult off that, so it's a very good combo. But especially early game, because you're going to really struggle with ganking and you need to gank early, these champs have good early damage that can utilize and follow you up really well, and also have CC and engage tools to really just lock them down. It's like you W, they CC, you got your E, you can flush after them, get the little root off. It's really, really handy. So these are dream champions to be playing, especially in the mid lane. Really like AD mids here. We'll go further into what you don't want to be playing against, which is going to be pretty obvious. ADC champs as well, all these are pretty much hyper-scaling ADCs. I mean, ADCs in general are obviously scaling, but Nunu's pretty much good with all ADCs, and these are champs you want to be Knights Vowing as well, obviously. Good to be peeling these champs. And support, I really only have Pyke in here. I think Pyke Nunu is very good, obviously complement CC for ganking early, has a strong lane phase, puts out all the pressure, threat, can roam, and also, you notice he's like Nathan, is he the only support champ he's good with? The rest of it I thought was just neutral. Like any support champ, most support champs have some sort of CC or, you know, speed up or some utility. So Pyke is just the one I think he's very good with. And again, say very good with here for a reason. Next is what he's bad with. And this is very important. The rule that I followed here is avoid picking Nunu with a mage mid and a tank top laner. I had some games with this and it was just impossible to win. Mage mids are not really good at sort of following up on your W Snowball. Also, in terms of 2v2 with Nunu and X-Champ, so if you think of Nunu Kassadin, there's almost no 2v2 potential there. That's some of the worst 2v2 combo in the game. But if you combine Nunu, going back to this slide, Nunu, Yas or Zed or Talon, then suddenly that becomes a very dangerous combo. Nunu plus that is very good, or any of these top champs. Same with tanks, you just don't have enough damage. All these champs sort of just don't have enough damage early. Kayle, you might say, actually, I mean, he's sort of a hyper-scaling, sort of AD-ish champion. The problem with Kayle top, again, in terms of 2v2, you have no option top. You can't gank that at all. And with Nunu, you really need gank options in terms of the early game. So this is very important to follow. As you can see, literally every mage mid here just sucks with Nunu, and most tank top laners. As you can see here, Ezreal is on here as the only ADC in the game that you don't want to be playing Nunu with. Ezreal is obviously a very passive sort of champion laner, makes it very hard to gank for, and Knight's Vow isn't really an item it's okay on Ez, but it's much better on champs like Jinx or Draven or something like that. So don't like playing it with Ezreal. I had not good success with Ezreal playing that on my team. And then these supports is sort of what you want to avoid. Again, makes ganking very hard. And Nunu's he needs strong laners. That's the common trend with all this. None of these champs are really strong laners. If you don't have strong laners, you can't do stuff in the early game, and you're sort of just useless and can get shut down very easily. So Nunu is bad against this, is also very important. Tank busters in terms of top lane. Mordekaiser is a huge counter to Nunu. He completely eliminates a gank option top. A lot of junglers, these are very annoying for him to play against. Kindred, he can kite you very easily. Kayn, this is more red Kayn. Kayn's obviously very good against tanks as well. He sort of outscales you as well in a way. Olaf can really mess your day up early game. Shaco, also the same situation. Master Yi, you don't have any CC to lock him down properly. Obviously, you have the engage with W, but he can really dodge it with his Q. He gets out of control and you can't deal with him at all. Nidalee can really keep up in terms of, I mean, she farms very fast, can counter jungle you easily, and also she can kite you forever, dodge your W easy. Warwick, Rengar, these champs are very good in terms of skirmishing, and Rengar, Nunu really struggles against them. Ivan completely outscales you and can completely stop your W with Q. Ivan's probably a very big hard counter to Nunu. And Trundle, sort of in a way, like I feel like his ideally pick against him. Obviously, he thrives off with his ult tanks, but and has a good strong early game. But I wouldn't say he's as bad as again like an Ivern or Musty or these champs here. In terms of the mid lane, in pretty much every mage, like you really struggle against a lot of these champs. Obviously it's going to depend if you complement it with your AD champs, but all these champs here, as you can see here, they're very easy to get away from your W. Vega is actually very annoying. You might think actually he's pretty immobile, but his cage can stop you in your tracks. Lissandra can jump away. Cass can stop you with her W and ult, and he's also sort of a tank buster as well, consistent damage. Galio's pretty tanky, hard to kill. Fizz can E away. Azir can run away, Ari can run away, Nico can stop you, LeBlanc very hard to get. Melzar has his passive, which makes it really hard to do Ws off effectively, consistently. Katarina can jump away, TF can stun card you, and Nivea can wall you off. So all these champs here, as you can see the common trend, they can all mess up your W engage so much. And again, we'll go into using W in the next slides, but it's very important to be getting your Ws off. These are also ADC champions that can get out of control and it becomes almost impossible to verse. Tristana has jumps and can knock you back. Kalista can kite you. Like, Kalista's actually okay. You can verse Kalista in terms of the early game. You can deal with her, but if she starts getting out of control, she can kite you forever and very, very hard to deal with. Also, her ult can literally save a teammate from your W. Lucian is a bit annoying to deal with his E. He can dodge your Snowball. Varus can lock you down with his ult. And Vayne obviously is very good against tanks. Can become out of control, but again, you can sort of deal with her in the early game. These are all support champs that are very difficult to verse against. Again, it's all about disrupting your W. They can all disrupt your W very easily. Lux, Morgana, Zara, they all have obviously their snares. Senna, Karma, and Bard can obviously interrupt with Q and also his ult. So the rule that I sort of followed here, if against a max 3 of blow of these champions, then I really would avoid picking Nunu. And it's also going to depend as well, going back to all these slides here, like it's all a combination here. And if we actually look again at my match history here and what was successful here, and I mean, let's just actually just look at the losses. So this loss here, I had a Malzahar mid. So, I mean, I'm not going to blame Champion Select just for it, but as you can see, the results where I actually had AD mids here, or AD tops, like as you can see, I rarely said here, awesome win. This game was a little bit tricky. I did versus Lissandra here, still won, but had a Shen top. That's probably a bad example, to be honest. Vlad mid here, but I had a Camille top. Good. What's another one? This game definitely should have won. I had a Yas, Poppy, Cass. I mean, this is a perfect Nunu game. I just played really poorly. This game also had a Talon, but did lose this one. Fizz mid, Fiora top. So yeah, Fiora is actually an interesting one. She is an AD top, but Fiora is sort of a split pusher, and you don't really want to be playing with split pushers. And also Fiora, and you'll notice Fiora and Tryndamere weren't on there, even though they were AD champs top, because these champs want to split push, but really you actually want to sort of team fight and roam with your AD champs. That's why I really like the Talons, the Zed, Yas, and stuff like that. What's another one here? So this had an Orianna mid, definitely not ideal versus Fizz, Rengar here. These are champs that are very hard to play against. So yeah, it's also again playing against. So it's this whole mixture combo. So TF counters me. Varus is pretty good into me. This game Shaco was really annoying to deal with. Zoe mid. Nunu Zoe is not a good combo at all. What else? This one here, I had an Annie mid, Trundle top, Ezreal ADC. So this game's very difficult to win, especially as well against a Kassadin. And Kassadin's a tricky one for Nunu, because Kassadin, you can't really impact that lane without like an AD mid. and early enough in terms of the mid game, he just scales up and you can do nothing about Kassan at all. So Kassan is definitely a very big champ that you want to avoid playing with. Here, AD mid, Z, great. AD mid, Z, that's actually the same Z. This game here had a Silas Ornn, again tank top, pretty weak sort of bot lane. Twist of Fate, Mordekaiser, this is the big one. See you later, can't win that game. Really hard. And he's actually against an Ornn Nunu as well. It's going to be very hard for me to win. I had a Vlad mid here. It was against a Yi, against the Mals, against the Janna. 3 champs straight up here. Loss. So, again, can potentially still win these games, but it's very difficult. That's the situation you don't want to get into. Fizz mid there. Yas mid here. Yas mid there. Rumble mid there. So, yeah. So, sort of good examples here. This is my experience. This is what I think the guideline you should follow in terms of picking Nunu. Okay, now moving into the gameplay section of this guide. This is the meat of it. As you can see here, I have a picture of Nunu building up a big snowball, ready to throw it. Reason being is that Nunu's W, his snowball ability, is everything for him. There's no W, Nunu is not a good champion. He sucks. So your W here is your most important ability. The way you use it determines your Nunu skill level. And it's all about timing. A mindset that I like to use when I'm thinking about using this snowball and how to use it most effectively is an airplane takeoff mindset. I'm going to show you some examples. Specifically, you want a late takeoff. Now, it's probably not ideal for airplanes, cutting it fine, but for Nunu, it is very, very handy. So I'm going to show you some examples here of airplanes taking off late to really get you into the mindset of how you want to be using W effectively, and then we'll see actual in-game examples. So you can see this is a very, very close call here. That is also very loud, but this is what you want to be Nunu. So charging up, getting ready, your snowball's at its biggest, and then letting it go, and a late takeoff is an airplane. We'll take another look at just one more here. These are actually pretty cool to watch anyway, I think. That plane you could barely even see coming, but again, hugely close call there. This is Nunu. You're the airplane, you're Nunu. And we'll do one more. So getting that run up, getting ready to take off to get some kills, get some good engages off, and win games. Okay. So, back to the guide here. So this is going to be all the theory around it, and again, then we're going to jump into actually seeing it in practice. So, use minion waves as a guide to start charging that up. And I'm thinking of, so this is like your minion waves. I mean, you can also think of enemy minion waves as well, whether they're going to be walking up or not, but ideal, the best case scenario for Nunu is when he are most effectively used as enemy laners are just about to arrive in lane from base. They're not going to expect a gank straight away just coming out of lane, or when your team is taking a tower or objective. So minion wave, walking up to the wave, W, you start charging W as it's literally walking in, and then as soon as the wave crashes, you're going to W, and enemies never expect it, and by the time they see it, it's usually too late to react because you're going so fast, because ideally, again, you're a late takeoff in terms of the airplane mindset. So it's also very good to use W for counter ganks. As soon as you W, you want to start walking forward and using your E as soon as your W hits off. So you don't just want to W in and start auto attacking and Q. You want to save Q. So always walk forward, hit your W, start walking forward, because by the time they get knocked up there and you start walking forward, there's actually a pretty small window where they're not going to be able to flash in front of you anymore, because if they flash, then you're just going to get the root on the E off anyway. So it's really effective, almost no counterplay to a really good W. You can also cancel it or on minions for very good wave clear. This is very effective if you're looking to push a tower. Ganks just finished, or let's say you miss a gank and then it's like, well, I'm just going to use my W for wave clear, still use it. The cooldown is not that short. You really need to think about it and set it up properly before use. This is really important. A failed W, a missed W opportunity can literally cost you a skirmish, even a game. Really, really important. And similar to an airplane as well, you only have one real shot. You know, like if the airplane doesn't take off at the right time or you do it too early. I mean, obviously, again, airplane example, too early is fine. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to get that charge up anyway in terms of airplane. That's why I love the airplane analogy. It's like you need that speed to actually get off, pull off the actual, the takeoff. So you can also use it as a quick knock up in mid-fight for peel. Rarely do this, but you can also do that just for chain CC or for peeling. Combined with the right champion, it is a deadly ability with very little counterplay. And this, again, going back to what champions is good with. Champions that can follow up, has CC, has the damage to kill them instantly in once the knock up, or, you know, follow up your E as well. I do have this bolded here. Never ever force a W gank. If it's not gankable or unlikely to work, just back off, just go farm or go to another lane. Really important. I mean, I could actually look at all my losses, and all those losses I could say there's at least a couple of forced W ganks in there. And I show on the map, I do nothing, and then I can get counter jungled, or I miss my W and a fight breaks out, and then I don't have that W charge up anymore. So, like, if you're in a fight, you can't just go back and then charge up a snowball again. That's why that one opportunity, that one takeoff is super important. So let's now go into a bunch of gameplay clips looking at how exactly I use W and sort of just skirmishing and team fighting with Nunu in general. We're going to start with a very obnoxious use of W to really shut down an enemy bot lane and using minion waves as a guide. So let's start taking a look at these clips now. So this here, I actually say as well, as you can notice here, dive next wave. So I'm using this minion wave. I want to use this as a guide. I'm literally standing here right now in a brush, making sure that enemy team's not seeing me, getting ready for a run up. So I actually go back a little bit, start my W. Potentially could have got actually a little bit more of a bigger run up there. Blitzcrank gets the hook perfectly into my CC. Dead. There's a demolish proc. This is pretty much everything in here. Best case scenario for Nunu. Gank, demolish proc, hit this, hit this, hit this. Queue up a minion, go back to full health. Hecarim comes in, try and W to CC him. And now I'm just peeling right now. And ult to finish off this Janna. But it does not stop here. Kaiser's coming straight back out of base. So again, demolish proc, Q, back, 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 back. I start pinging my W, say not enough mana yet. Back, back, back. Remember, I know Kaiser's going to come for this wave. Again, use minion wave as a guide. Here we go. Here she comes. Too late for her to walk away now. And I didn't even have to hit it there, but she's trapped. And there, another demolish proc. Perfect example of just the way how obnoxious you can be in terms of using Nunu's W. Okay, so this is the thing as well. Just be patient. Just sit there. I'm waiting for an opportunity to W. I know I want to W the wave. I'm using my Ezreal as bait. I mean, Ezreal's not a champion ideally you're playing Nunu with, but he is good with sort of like Yas and Jax. But here, I'm just waiting. This tower is low. I know the enemy team might greed for it. So I want to be here just to like pick him off. So I see Ziggs there, walking to the tower. Charge up my snowball again. Airplane takeoff mindset. Commit into tower. And he just can't run away in time. He uses W for the Ez, and he's dead. Okay, this example here is a little bit of different creative paths you want to be doing with Nunu. So this is from behind here, utilizing my set against sets on one of the champions that Nunu's good with. Eat up that Shen, that's good for us. Enemy team starts collapsing, and also this is also want to note as well. Look at how much damage a Nunu can do. So there's my I actually didn't have aftershock there, but coming in here, my Cinderhog proc, ult Akali can't really do anything into me there. Set gets a triumph heal. He's cutting back and forth, and now I have my aftershock. Get the aftershock proc off there, and that's a dead Graves. So I mean, you do damage on Nunu, especially with aftershock again, cheap shot, all that stuff combined. So getting another run up here. This is just a wave clear example. So you do clear all the caster minions very quickly. The wave clear is good. This is an example of the objective contest of Nunu. So you should never ever ever lose a smite battle around objectives with Nunu's consume plus his smite. So that combo alone, I mean, you decide when you consume. So the enemy team, okay, could maybe predict it, but there's going to be a split-second decision making. Really, you do have, it's pure luck if the enemy team manage to get in between your smite and Q. But ideally, you're pressing them at getting ready at the same time. So Q doesn't go off like instantly. There's a little delay. So get the chomp off and then smite. So as you can see here, cast my Q, smite, and I believe Lysandra cancels the TP there. Free Baron there. Okay, this is coming from the side here, looking to make some picks with my Darius here. Flanks, very, very good flanks on Nunu, but it is hard to pull this off. You need to make sure the enemy team doesn't know you're coming. You see E here, I'm always walking forward, so I get that snare. It's very close, but always try and walk forward with your E. Don't worry about weaving auto attacks in between. Get that snare off first. That's your main source, so your teammates can get onto enemy champs with you. Right, getting a run up here, and also notice how much I'm lane ganking. I think it's probably about 70% of the time I'm lane ganking. You don't need to worry about ganking traditionally from sides or from here. Lane ganks are very effective for Nunu. Also, with the right champions, and again, this comes back to the champion list, there is no counterplay to it. By the time Camille sees me here, I mean, I've Shen follow up, she panic, E's. I miss my E, and that's the other thing as well. Know when to cancel your E. To just start E. And sometimes you're going to miss it, they're going to juke it, but then you just cancel it and start E straight away. Get that next layer of CC on. So come down here, potentially could have done a bigger run up, but still getting a pretty good run up here. I go straight back to peeling my team. So also, this is another thing for Nunu as well. Yes, you do damage, but you don't do enough damage, especially at this stage again, to one-shot someone. So as soon as I hit this, I know there's nothing more for me to do. All I want to do is go back and peel my team. That's also very important for Nunu in team fight skirmishing. Peel, peel, peel. Peel your carries. I have a Varus. And play around my Yas. So you see that? I just ignore them. Misfortune wastes her ult. Come here. Peel with ult. You can peel with E. E's also a very good peel tool as well. Yas, Nunu combo in full effect there. I mean, this game I'm really fed. I'm 13-1-11, so really tanky, really fed. This is my Deadman's and Thresh game, Deadman's and Spirit Visage game. Not building Knights again because I'm obviously against. I have a Thresh on my team with the tank support for item builds. Alright, another objective contest game. Yan should never lose this. Q, smites. Looks like there's like 1500 damage or something like that. Straight to peeling. You see that? Straight to peeling. Nocturne comes, peeling my vein. Peel your carries. Use my W mid-fight. He flashes. Cancel it. Starting my E. I didn't need to flash there. I could have flashed to get it, but he was dead anyway. Save my flash for another time. Alright. This is a Pike. Great combo here. Even though it's an Ez, I do have a Pike and Shen. So come down here. I also want to just note how much damage this does. Look, I'm actually alone, and this is where Red Smite is so useful as well. Just come on here. Actually, the other thing as well I wanted to show is, remember, like, look at the E that I start. So I start E-ing. You see I start walking forward. E, 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 E. The other thing as well is you don't ever want to get sloppy with hitting your E's. Even though it doesn't do much damage, every little bit can count. So always try and keep hitting your E's constantly. Sometimes I see Nunus get sloppy and they start throwing E's like here and stuff like that. Like, try and hit them all. So as you can see, E, 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 E. He even turns. Still E, E, E there. Throw your snowballs correctly. That damage does add up at the end of the day. You don't want to be missing it. It's wasted damage. This is a bit more of a creative path from behind the enemy team. They're walking to lane here. So again, this is most effective. Again, enemy team, I know they're going to... I'm using my minion wave as a guide. They're walking up. Enemy team's 100% going to be here. I'm going to cut off their route here. They can start walking to Ez Thresh, but they're going to die anyway, right? Or I could even follow up with Snowball. So this is a bit harder to pull off. Obviously, you need to make sure the enemy team doesn't see you in here. But come in here. This is a really good position for us here. Thresh uses his flay as well. Start my absolute zero tank. Queue up the minion for some health. And we can slowly just kill this Thresh. So Misfortune just wants us to end this game. And this is, you see my build there? That was a Knight's Vow game. This is a Knight's Vow game because I have a Morgana here. Another objective contest here. I'm just going to try and be peeling my Orianna, my Misfortune this game. So yeah, no way any team can contest. They do. Senna does. Misfortune, I think, late spell shields me. I still get Senna rooted there, so I miss my ult, my W. That's fine. Next targets here. My W's back up. Start charging this thing. And this is a very rare situation where you can do another Snowball in a fight to chase people down, but still very effective here. Alright, Zoe and Senna here, I'm just blocking, again, pure mindset for Misfortune. So look how close this is for Misfortune, and this also why Knight's Vow is so good. Like, this can actually have made the difference in this fight, the Knight's Vow healing for Misfortune. So you see how low she is here? This lets her get off potentially another auto attack. It's probably the Misfortune shield there as well, but again, Knight's Vow, very, very good item, get the kill there. Another lane gank here. Silas is been acting as bait, which is pretty good. She dodges that, cancel W straight away, start Eing on her. My Silas is playing pretty slow, which is pretty good, and that's a dead Aurelia. Alright, this is the example of just how strong a Nunu Yas combo is. I mean, as you see, it's pretty early in the game. I am 1-0-1, but it's not like we're super fed. We just go out just absolutely insane here. Full health Garen. So I actually ditch this and actually see Nami here. I want to catch Nami and Lee Sin out here. So, Yas combo, he ults. I get the snare off on Lee Sin. Oh, the other thing as well I didn't mention in the item builds is always go Red Smite. You need the damage from Red Smite. Again, you have no real problems of getting on people with your W. Like, the damage and damage reduction from Red Smite's good for peeling, it's good for doing more damage, and you just never need Stalker's Blade as Nunu. And look at that, we wiped the team. I think we killed literally 4 there. Just the Yas Nunu combo is so strong. Lane gank, using my wave and the enemy wave as a guide to W. He can't get away, there's no counterplay to a full huge snowball, max speed, and that's a dead Aurelia. Another lane gank, this is actually from the same game, I believe. Start charging my W, lane gank again. Because the thing as well is, like, the enemy team can't just like ward here. So I know that there's no wards ever. If I walk through here, I could be walking over wards. That's why lane ganks are so powerful. This one is control warded, so I know this is fine. W and in, Nami has good follow-up there, and any teammates with CC follow-up, just super OP. Get a kill on Brand there, very clean gank. That's exactly how you want Nunu W ganks to be working. This is utilizing a top Darius into Renekton. Again, this is a full health Renekton right here. Straight coming in, charging up, late, takeoff, airplane, mindset. Huge snowball, look at this perfect timing almost. 1 second, actually, Darius pulls him out of that, which is unfortunate, but we still get the kill. Another lane gank. Lane gank. Alright, try and get a pretty big run up for this one. And again, by the time the enemy team sees you on their map, it's too late. That's the thing why there's just no counterplay to these Nunu ganks. Good chain CC there. And that's a dead Brand. Alright, I want to show here, look at how much damage a Nunu can do against a Talon. And this is why you don't need bone plating either. Like, yes, bone plating is good against champs like Talon, but look at how much damage I'm doing to this guy. Like, Fizz does come, but I would have solo killed this guy anyway. W down, this is a through lane example. Tarek's pretty caught here. I actually ditch Tarek and actually, again, want to just try and solo kill this Kate. So there's the root. That's also the other thing. E into like ult is very powerful combo as well. So look at that damage. Just solo kill straight up at 80 carry. Red Smite, Aftershock, W, E, Cinder Hulk. Really combined good damage. I mean, look at all this distance you can close here. Look at this. This is actually, I mean, potentially maybe ungankable with most champs. But look at this. So just run him down. Because he used his yellow card. I mean, TF is actually one of the champs that I did put on in terms of champ that is really good, but just because he used his card, he used a blue card or whatever to clear the wave, I was able to freely go on that. If he had a yellow card, obviously I couldn't do that. Alright, this is very powerful. When you have Baron and using it as like your wave is siege in tower and you just randomly come up, it's great for Baron dive setup. Really, really good. So look at this run up I'm getting. Airplane, late takeoff mindset. Again, coming straight in here. Full huge snowball off. They cancel my ult. But I'm just so tanky at this stage. Again, Ravenous Hunter, revitalized. Just so much healing. Right, this gank is like, again, potentially ungankable. I mean, but you can pull off these type of ganks with champs like Aurelia that can help follow up CC here, and you have the damage. So the distance you can close really good, especially when people don't have boots and stuff early game. It's really effective. And this is why I really love. Notice this again. Like I have red smite all the time before I build Barmy Cinder. I just think it's so much better for these early ganks, and you really need to be getting these early ganks off to start. You know, metaphor, like no pun intended, snowballing games. Look at that. Perfect CC from Yas. I love this combo. This is a dead Syndra. Nothing she can do about it. Just no counterplay at all. W from behind here. Potentially could have got a bigger run up. I just cancelled my W there because I forced his E, so this is fine. Play it slow sometimes. No need to go in on that. It's too predictable sometimes going in with your W. Especially there was no minion wave there to tank tower. Would have started tanking tower. Just wait for my Ezreal to E. Alistair comes in and finish him off. Okay, the other thing as well is you can utilize the speed boost from the mid-river thing for your W. It's really effective as well. It's actually coming down. So look at the speed boost here, coming down real fast now. Again, just waiting patiently in river. I cancel that straight away. You see that? Just know when you've missed it, cancel it, still get the snare off. Always walk forward, walk on top of them, walk on top of them. And that's a dead Janna and dead Kai'Sa. Another lane gank. Always lane ganks here. Darius does a pretty good job to block off his path here and use bait out his W. No way Nocturne can survive that gank. Like, it looks pretty easy, but if you set up the right conditions and don't overforce it. I did say that some of these situations did look ungankable, but it's because none of the enemy team knew that I was there. So sometimes forced ganks means that people know you're there, so they're gonna predict it and like maybe hug one side further or get ready to like flash, or like, because even that little second of them walking up instead of being ready to always walk back is the difference. So when I say forcing ganks as well, it's like making sure that you're not seen. And that's why lane ganks are so powerful. No one's expecting you to randomly come through lane. So this is me just catching people out in terms of a mid fight. And at this stage of the game, it's really easy to catch up people in mid because everyone's trying to push mid. You can just come straight down from mid. Morgana obviously complements you as well because she can block any CC that's come in. Camille Nunu. Camille's one of those champs that are good with Nunu. Great combo there. She locks him in whilst I come down. Jax tries to get away, but he can't because we're way too sticky. Alright, this is another wave clear example. I just want to quickly show you me just using it for wave clear. W, cancel it when there's nothing more for you to do. Right, coming down for a gank here. I know that they're sort of around here, so I'm just checking. I mean, I would say that's probably a pretty forced gank. I didn't need to do that, but again, this is... Okay, I come here, show here, but now Ezreal doesn't have E. Actually, probably have E back up, but guess what? I wait for my snowball, and I want to come back. Get the huge run up. Again, my towers, my teams, this is when Nunu's W's best used. When they're sieging, when the tower's fully on waves, especially cannon waves. Come down here, Thresh follow-up CC. Zero counterplay here. I think my Thresh does die here. But we just destroy these guys. Just back off. Let Varus kill him. Finish him off. Alright, another lane gank. This is another good champ. So notice a lot of these games are all like AD champs I'm utilizing this with. It's very rare I have AP champs that these ganks are working this well. And this is why it's so good. So actually, a bit more context around this as well. So I basically just did a... clear my jungle, and I know that Rengar does always path red, blue, Gromp, so I'm literally just sitting here waiting to counter gank Jace. I know that Rengar's going to come here, so as soon as they started fighting, I thought that, so Maokai W'd on him, and then I'm like, oh, Rengar must be here, so I'm going to get ready, preemptively get my W going, so I'm ready for the fight. And Rengar actually shows a little bit up too late, but even now he knows it's too late. He walks forward for some reason, but look at that W damage. Just destroy a Mott guy. Get my J Snowball on. This is the same game example, and this is me again using it for wave clear. Look at that wave clear. Really good, even at like this sort of time in the game. Always you can use your W for wave clear. Alright, so Wing into this fight here. Make sure I'm dodging that Caitlyn trap. And this is me pretty fed, so I'm absolutely out of control here. I think me and Kiss-Cassin literally like 2 versus 4 here. So this is where Nunu isn't really in a fight. Like, I'm just trying to kill everyone right here. I'm just being this huge frontline tank. This is where Nunu is just super obnoxious. So I'm just unkillable again. And this is again a Ravenous Hunter cheap shot game where my healing's ridiculous. I'm still full health right now. Just mauling them, just walking, we're just going ham. And that's a triple kill for Draven. Draven's a very good champ to utilize as well. Right, final clip here. This is again sort of showing how obnoxious this is for Nunu. I mean, before we get into this clip here, let's just quickly take a note of how fed I am right now. So this is something I wouldn't recommend you doing. We're still getting this tower and I'm literally diving here, but I'm so fed, I'm just like, just being annoying at this stage. And again, I can still do good amounts of damage. We'll go on a shield as well to complement it. So I go straight onto this guy here. We just destroy that Lucian, and I'm like, oh, actually I should probably back off now. Q a minion. Look at that healing. So always chomp up a minion if you need to mid-fight for that healing if you're running away, and there you go. So I hope that this gave you a pretty good idea of how to use W and use it most effectively. Again, notice the lane ganking. The amount of lane ganking was ridiculous. Again, notice the champions that all these games were with where I was pulling off these successful ganks. Yas, Jace, Zeds. Really, really good champs to complement your Snowball. I just almost never had success with like Vlad, Cassin. They just can't follow up these Snowballs like those champs can. Alright, that's going to be it for these gameplay sections. Let's now move into the jungle pathing in terms of early game. So options for jungle pathing. We have 2 options here. Every game you're going to start red, no matter what side you are. You're going to do red Raptors. You clear Raptors incredibly fast as Nunu. I'll show you examples in a moment of just how effective he is at that with Talisman. And after this route, you're going to either do Krugs and gank. And I do say here, you must have watered early to see if enemy is watered to do this path effectively. Or you're just going to do Wolves, Blue, gank / farm. I don't really like to do Gromp unless I look for a gank opportunity first, and then if I don't have any, then maybe I'll just do Gromp, Wolves, Rift Scuttler, and then maybe look for another gank. But really pulling off early ganks is actually pretty important as Nunu. But again, you want to be using, you can only do that with the right champs on your team as well, right? So that's why again, champ select is so important for Nunu. So let's just jump straight into some clips showing you these jungle paths in action. The first example we're going to go over is a red Raptors Krugs into gank path. I did this a lot and it worked very, very well for me, especially given the fact that I will know if the enemy laner has warded or not based on the ward that I'm about to show you where I place. So ideally you want to be doing this path around lanes that you've identified as your win condition, or any of the top lane champs that I put in there, or let's say the bottom lane champs. You're never really going to do this around mid. So it's either going to be, it's obviously always going to be on your red side, so I'm going to look to gank here this game, but other than that you can look to gank bot here as well, that works. So come in here, and so what I do here, I mean I always let my laners know that I'm going to be looking for a level 3 gank so they can play their lane accordingly potentially. I wait in this bush for a little bit, just so I can get more information on this, and then I have plenty of time to base and switch out to sweeper, place that ward there. So I'm going to know if the Aurelia has ganked early, and I want to gank Aurelia because she's very vulnerable into the early stage. And Sylas I didn't actually put on my top lane list, but based on this game I had a LeBlanc mid and like a Cog Bard bot. Like I feel like that I could potentially make that a win condition. So Sylas is not bad, but he's not like amazingly good, because obviously he's sort of like AP damage, but he's still, you know, good strong with Conqueror. So come here, do red. Also, the way I do red here, I let it hit me a little bit just for jungle sustain. So I don't Q yet. So notice on the second auto attack, that's when I decide to Q. I'm back to full health. It just helps me for sustain. It's not, I feel like it doesn't really affect in terms of speed at all. You really want to be using your Q next on this camp anyway, really. Because by the time you come W down here, we'll see how quick, like you can get a Q on the Raptor camp anyway. and your Q will be back up by the time you do Krugs, because you're only going to do one Q on this. So look how fast this is. Bam, Raptor Camp gone, consume that, see you later. And I've been looking top this whole time, and Aurelia has not watered, so this is pretty free. Also, I like to get a little extra run up here, so I like to walk a little bit here so I can get a bigger snowball off, does more damage. It's always handy. Just clear as fast as possible so I can get top as quickly as possible. And I always smite the big Krug here as well. I'll pop a health potion here as well, I believe. No, yeah, I do pop a health potion. I should. Yep, pop one health pot, because you do get a little bit low here. Aurelia is pretty overextended here. Okay, no, sorry. Going back a little bit here. Aurelia goes missing. And I'm always going to assume when she's missing is she's gone to ward this brush here. She actually has warded this, but this ward I'm not too fussed about, because by the time she sees me on this ward, again with the airplane takeoff mindset, it's going to be too late. And she's in a very good position right now. So I literally walk all the way around. And I start my sweeper up now, and this is actually very effective as well, because the enemy laner will also see you for a very split second if you start your sweeper up. But she's on the run anyway. She flushes, but I have a huge snowball. Remember, perfect timing. I had 0-something seconds left, 0.5 seconds left on that. Silas does die, unfortunately, but it does work. He does get executed, so it doesn't give gold anyway. So Kiana does roam up there, but I do have to flash. So I literally just decide to actually go take Rift Scuttler now. I'm actually not sure what jungler I'm playing. If I'm playing against a aggressive jungler, I probably shouldn't have done this. But I do... Okay, I'm versing a Karthus. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I'm very happy to take that Rift Scuttler there. And then bot lane actually just all kills them there, which is pretty good for us. But yeah, I'm sort of just showing you that path. The game's pretty over from here. I do double Rift Scuttler this Karthus and then just clear my blue side. No, actually I don't. He's taking this Rift Scuttler. Just clear my blue side. Okay, I look to base off here, and I actually want to go back top. So this is actually very obnoxious as well. So I don't just have to do my wolves because I want to base and literally go and gank straight top again. Again, buying skirmishes, which is very, very handy for this gank. I mean, Barmy, it's always going to do way more damage than Barmy Cinder, so I literally come straight here, charge up my snowball, get ready. Silas is actually pretty low health here. So I come up for a regank. And again, he hasn't burnt flash, so I can just keep doing this over and over again. Aurelia is just so screwed. And me skipping wolves there was actually very important for momentum and tempo. We get another kill on Aurelia. I think I just keep coming back and back and back for this. So just want to sort of show you the early game example. Help him push this in now. And actually I do use my W here again just to clear, help wave clear. But that wasn't that big, yeah. So you need to charge up your W a little bit more to really pull off a proper wave clear. Second example, we're going to be showing you a red Raptors Wolves blue into gank path. This is pretty standard, but again, I really like doing the first jungle path, the red Raptors Krugs gank a lot more. Laners really don't expect it. It's really obnoxious, and if you play around the right champs and win condition, it works like a charm. So this game, I actually want to place my ward here. So I always switch out to red sweeper trinket. I place my ward here because I want to get information on Eve. She loves to do Raptors. She loves to start red. That's just going to help me a bit and my team. Place that ward, switch out to red sweeper. I have a bot leash share, which is pretty good. Do my W. I'm going to show you this in the last example. Do this camp very, very quickly. This next wolves, sometimes, so this situation, I do have my snowball up. Sometimes the way you clear the timing, you have about 2 seconds. Sometimes you need to wait for your snowball. And it's always worth the wait for your snowball for this next camp, almost all the time. You're just going to clear it way faster. I think it's like when you get Cinderhawk or Barmy Cinder, you clear that camp so fast that if you look to do wolves next, your W is not going to be up quick enough. And it's just like a 2-3 second window, I think. I can't remember what it is or what time in the game. So I do wolves pretty quickly, and then I actually look mid originally. I look top originally. I mean, Riven's a great champ for me to help. Snowball, but Camille is a little bit tricky to gank. She can E away. So I look at the wave, I'm like, nah, gank yes. I tried top again, but I see that that's probably pushing in top. So I'm like, yeah, gonna be hard to do, especially that angle as well. So I just decided to gank mid here. Again, Yas is a great person for me to be playing around. We burn her flush, which is great for a regank. So pop that, and then just look into just do Rift Scuttler, do my Gromp, reset, potentially go bot. I mean, again, I just want to keep impacting mid there. So that's an example of that one. Let's just finish off with another red Raptors Krugs example, because again, I really like this path and it was really effective. So this game, I actually initially had the mindset of doing a red Raptors Wolves blue path, helping my Darius get ahead. But I was sort of just like, stuff it. I'm actually just going to try out this this route. I mean, I really like getting my Darius ahead into Renekton lanes, because Renekton really is an early game lane bully. So if I get Darius ahead, that's good. But I sort of just wanted to test it out here. But I really should have warded this to make sure that I'm not walking on wards when I do this gank. So red, Raptors, Krugs, smite the big Krug, pop a potion. I have been looking at bot actually, whether they have warded the Tribush. I'm pretty sure Tribush is not warded. So I come down here, looking at the wave, it's in a very good position. They're very overextended right now. Come down here. Kate ease into my Snowball. She's 100% dead here. Get the E. You see how I walk forward, burn Brand's flash. Perfect bot gank. I can re-gank this. I can make this my win condition. So I come straight back down here into it now. I actually decide to base right now, and I like to decide to start basing here. Reason being is that the fact that I have, against champs like Lee Sin, if I was an Eve, I probably would just do Rift Scuttler and just keep walking up. But Lee Sin could actually just come into my top side and actually trying to punish me for it. So I actually want to try and defend my top side jungle and Rift Scuttler as well against champs like Lee Sin. But the other reason as well is that if I walk into this river against Lee Sin, if he's, let's say he's done red, blue Gromp, he actually could come and try and kill me as well. Because if I make it obvious that I walk into river, it's always risky. So there's a couple of reasons why I based after that instead of doing Rift Skull. I sort of just gave it up. But he actually shows mid here, he actually ganks the Fizz, and I'm like, okay, now I need to defend my blue, which is actually not ideal. Fizz is saying lead 1v9, I think he's got like 2 successful ganks off. I actually try and sneak the W here. And this is good, you can take Rift Scuttlers very quickly. He smites the blue for some health. I just back off here. I mean, Aftershock, super tanky, all good. I back off, get ready to charge another Snowball here. I know Lee Sin's here. He's trying to commit to it. I'm very patient here. Look at how patient I am. I'm just waiting for my team. Talon's here. This is 2 versus 3. I could have easily kept going in, but just be patient. Waiting for my Darius. I'm not going to be able to run in. I'll just die to a Renekton Lee Sin. So now I come back again. Consume that. Really good E by Darius there. Get a kill there. So that's really good me coming up here. I took the Rift Scuttler. Like, in terms of versing a Lee Sin right here, like, this is great for me. Great early game. So following on that clip that you just saw of that early game that I had in terms of red, Raptors, Krugs, gank bot, burn all those summoners, kill Kate. That's easy to re-gank, then coming topside. Defending my topside jungle, killing the Renekton, stealing Rift Scuttler from Lee Sin. That is what I would call a really good early game for Nunu, and that's where I applied the lock-in mindset. And what this mindset is, I'm going to show you another example of more of like a full game of how I apply it. But if I have a good early game as Nunu, you can basically think of locking and a win simply by farming efficiently, just outscaling an enemy, especially in that game against champs like early game champs like Lee Sin, at least Jarvan. So he has put out some pressure. He did gank that Fizz, but I'm in a very good position. Like, I'm not afraid of Lee Sin anymore. I've sort of shown my dominance. Like, I can actually survive Lee Sin. I can just keep farming my jungle. I'll outscale him. I'll be way more impactful. And I've impacted bot way more than he has. So I can get drags. He's really done like a mid gank, which is, you know, okay, but it's whatever. So the idea is that if I pull off like 2 or 3 successful ganks or 2 things in terms of the early game, I'm going to start entering into a farming mindset and only taking favorable fights with my W engages. You don't need to take high risk plays anymore. Do not die. Super important as a tank. Every time you're dying, you're not getting CS farm. You need those items to get really tanky and be a huge threat. So in that game, I mean, I did like 2 things really. That's all I would really need to be really comfortable with the way the game's going, the pace of the game. The only games that you really struggle with Nunu is if you're forcing W ganks and you've been shut down by an aggressive early jungler that is sort of just out tempoing you, killing all your laners. So that game was a perfect example. I'm going to show you another example, but this lock-in mindset helps you have very high CS and gives the enemy team little chance to get back into the game, because even though if your team's all dying and stuff, you are still that solid rock. You're still this very tanky Nunu that can W engage in at any time, soak up a bunch of skill shots, peel your carries. You're always going to be there. So farm, really important, being efficient as a tank. Like, this is a really good mindset to actually carry in tanks in general. If you get off a good early game, all you need to do to win is just farm up and take don't need to take high risky plays, especially against, you know, champs like Lee Sin, Elise, Jarvan, Rek'Sai that can turn things very quickly in terms of the early game. So I'm going to show you quickly now another example of a game where I have a good early game and all I need to do is win, is just farm and just take low risk plays. Okay, so jumping into the early game of this VOD example for the lock-in mindset. Remember, we do need to have a good early game to apply this mindset. So that doesn't mean just sitting there AFK farming and just not dying. Like, you still need to pressure lanes, get your laners, get some kills. This is a perfect game for me in terms of AD champs. I mean, Graves, I have a Graves top. It's not on my list, but I have Aurelia to utilize, which is great. So already my team comp is not looking like I have, like, you know, a tank top mage mid. As long as you don't have that, we're all good. So I actually want to do the level 3 gank strategy here in terms of red, Raptors, Krugs, top gank. So I'm placing my ward here as usual. Switch out to sweeper, which I actually am not able to because a fight breaks out here. But usually I would. So as you can see, I go back there because I really want to base for sweeper. But team comes, so I'm like, alright. Graves gets first blood there, so now I'm like, alright, well that's great, I want to do the level 3 gank strategy on top. Panther has no flash, that's really good for me. So I start basing, but I realize I don't have enough time. So I mean, already I have lots of potential win conditions with those flashes burnt. So I already remember tell my team, my Graves at level 3 gank top. Red, Raptors, Krugs. And this is a situation where I am up here and I'm waiting for Elise to gank here. So this is similar to the Rengar clip that I showed. Elise is always going to be up here around this time based on pathing that she does. So all I'm doing is coming up here for actually a counter gank. And Nunu is very effective for counter gank, especially coming through lane and sitting in one of these brushes. So this is the beginning of the good early game here. So come down here for Elise. Remember, Elise burnt flash. Yeah, Elise has no flash based on that early skirmish. So she actually jumps to Graves there. Oh, sorry, she does have flash. It was Graves that doesn't have flash. But I flash after her, get the either. Again, look at this. I cannot do this with mage mids. This is just the power of these combos. Like, I have the damage. I do the CC with my E, and that's it. Okay, so I probably should have given Aurelia. It was true, I should have given her that kill, but that's fine. This is it. This is the lock-in mindset right now. We have done enough in terms of early game. I've technically done like 1.5 things. I'd say that me coming to help that was like half a thing, but at least it's shut down. So all I need to do, like, she's dead. She's lost her double buffs. Her map pressure early game is going to be really insignificant. So all I need to do is actually protect my lanes in a way, farm up, and we're going to win this game. So that's the identification. Early game, win, done. So now I gank mid here. As you can see again, look at this combos. Just, I love AD mids, and this is Aurelia. Would work with the same with the Z Talon. Really effective. I think she missed her stun there as well, didn't she? And we still got the kill. Yeah, so she misses her stun, but we still get the kill. She has the exhaust, which is actually pretty handy. Alright, double Rift Scuttler. This Elise is so far behind now. Do my Gromp. I see Elise bot now. This is great. We see her on the map again. No pressure early game Elise. I just sit back, just keep farming. I have very high CS this game, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, take full clear bot side, reset. Didn't need to gank bot, didn't need to anything like that. Reset. I'm level 5 at 5 minutes right now. This is incredibly far ahead. This is the most ideal base as well. When I can base for Balmy Cinder and 2 control wards, that means you're very far ahead. And that's also another good indication where you can literally just farm and take low risk ganks and you'll win the game. So come straight to my Krugs again. Farm, farm, farm. Looking to potentially counter gank top in a way, because remember, Elise, I don't exactly know where she is. I'm actually thinking she might be bot side, but she could be looking to punish this Graves flush. I mean, in terms of like, she hasn't spent any resources bot. She was showed bot before. I feel like she's probably top side now, so I want to potentially counter gank this Graves. So I come here, but Graves is constantly pushing in. Pantheon, so I come mid. I see a rally here. Elise here, so coming down here for a potential counter gank, but it's pretty obvious that I'm running into an Elise right now. She cancels my W, but again, she's done nothing early game. I'm 102, 100% kill participation. All I need to do is defensive wards right there, place a control ward, wait for this Rift Scuttler. It's my 3rd Rift Scuttler already. Farm, farm, farm. I decided to take Dragon here. Diana's top. Bot lane's pushing here, has priority. Pantheon actually solo kills Renekton there, but he does die. The Graves does die too. But get Dragon there, it's all good. Come down bot here actually to pick up. This is actually pretty lucky. He literally ulted at the perfect time there. Pick up a quick kill. And this is it. Look at this Demolish procs here, and this is why I love it. I come down here, Demolish, get a plate, chip down this tower. I mean, Demolish has a serious amount of damage. This is again why I love that. Farm, farm, farm. I actually just want to push this in. But Nami shows up there. Just want to go straight to my camps. Gromp. At least actually re-ganks top there. Do my wolves. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of CS at this stage for a tank. And that's the thing as well, I have 0 deaths. So deaths really affects your farm. Really, really affects your farm. So that's why I say not dying is really important to continue just keep farming up. So again, come do my Krugs right here. Now I'm looking for a gank. I mean, you still want a gank. You don't just want to AFK farm. You still want to impact the map. This is, I thought, was actually pretty safe. But I actually didn't realize that Diana was missing. This is poor map awareness by me. So right now, I can 1v2 this because I'm so far ahead because I'm so farmed, right? Like I have Cinder Hulks, I can 1v2 this. But if I would have backed off probably much sooner. I didn't need to take this if Diana roamed. So Diana now comes for me, and this is where Red Smart's very handy as well. I Red Smite her, so she has 20% damage reduction. So I literally survived because of my Red Smite there and E. Even Graves is pretty surprised by that. So I decided to actually greed for my red. I mean, this isn't greed at all. Elise is dead. Diana's pushing top, so this is all good. Come down here for another Rift Scuttler. I've got every Rift Scuttler of the game so far. Come down here to counter gank for Diana roam. I literally just stand there, just be like, hey, Diana, how's it going? Varus gets a really good ult there, good chain CC. She jumps into my W, which was pretty lucky. And we kill Alicia. Demolish proc again. Chop down this tower. I actually go back in here. Yeah, okay, he just flushed heals in there, so he's pretty tilted, I think, at this stage. Get another free kill here. Get this tower. Reset. Go straight back bot. Graves, I think, soloed Rift Geld, and now he's killing Rift top, which was actually pretty good by him, but I want to take Drag down here. Drag, and then I kill this Ezreal, who's very overextended with the Aurelia. Go top, remember farm, farm, farm. I mean, again, 100 CS at 13 minutes right now. This is just the effectiveness. I'm just a brick wall. Even if my team dies here, doesn't really matter. I mean, I definitely want to help them, but I'm just this huge brick wall. I'm so strong compared to Elise. Remember, this is also a Knight's Vow game that I'm building. Also a note, going back to the item builds, I have a Valkor support. I want to use that for my Varus. Or even my Aurelia sometimes. Sometimes you can switch out your Knight's Vow based on team fights as well. That's the other thing as well. You want to just keep switching it out. This is potentially a bit of a risky fight. Don't need to take this. But again, I'm just playing a bit safe. Backing off. There's no way the enemy team can kill me. Graves is pushing top. Aurelia's pushing bot. Actually W in here, which was actually, I think, pretty greedy to try and kill Elise. So just doing some counter jungling as well. Take another Rift Scuttler. I don't think Elise's got one this game. Do my wolves, do my gromp. Farm, farm, farm. Notice how much I'm farming here. Go top for my red. I have Knight's Vow now. I think I'm building Dead Man's next. I'm not even worrying about any magic damage, I think, because Diana's pretty far behind, as well as Elise. I mean, Elise is pretty much non-existent. Take my red. Again, look at this. Look at the CS right here. I have literally more CS than my top laner and ADC. Like, this is just the power of it. If you're farm effectively, I mean, we're still, obviously my laners are doing pretty well as well. I mean, I did help them out in a way. I mean, this is a game where, but again, there's no way I can lose this game. That's the thing about the lock-in mindset, is that even if you have a good early game, like there's many champs you play and stuff, you can have a good early game and still lose. With champs like Nunu and just tanks in general, with this lock-in mindset, impossible to almost lose this game unless we do major throws, which again, super still unlikely because I'm just brute force tank. So just lock in the win, just farm. Don't need to make any risky plays here. We'll literally dive in on their Nexus towers here. I think we pretty much get this, and then end the game not far after. Alright, so I thought this was a good example. I mean, again, you do need to have a good early game. So we're actually going to go into playing from behind next, but this lock-in mindset is really only for this sort of situations. But the biggest thing is identify when you've got it. Identify when, okay, I've had a good early game, all I need to do here is farm and take low risk plays and have effective pathing, but still play around objectives. That's the big thing, because the thing sometimes you can get into the mindset of when you have a lot of kills early, oh, I'm really strong, I can keep fighting. You don't need to fight at all you need is golden experience through minions, and you can win the game. Especially in solo queue with uncoordinated teams. So hopefully this mindset was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you implement this into your games that works for you, or if you have any questions around it. Would love to hear from you. But now let's keep running through the presentation. We have one more section, and then we'll jump into Q&A, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so we've obviously talked a lot about through this guide what to do when you're ahead, especially the lock-in mindset that we've just covered. So I want to quickly go over a playing from behind example, what to do when you're playing from behind. So I thought this was a great VOD to go over. This is probably worst possible case scenario for me as Nunu. I'm forcing ganks. I have a very bad early start. I'm 0-2-0. I feed a Graves who can very much accelerate a game in terms of experience and gold. 3 foul ganks, still level 4 at 7 minutes in the game. I had no winning lanes at that stage to utilize. The way I get back into the game, I'll show you exactly how, but basically I made my Zed a win condition and just farmed efficiently after that. Also I have a little picture here, uphill. I mean, this is, you know, also relevant for Nunu with a Snowball uphill, but this is really an uphill battle for me. I mean, even when I start getting my Zed ahead, it's still not completely game over. So let's jump into this example here about playing from behind with Nunu. Okay, so before we jump into the actual gameplay of this VOD, applying all the theory we've learned in this guide so far in terms of champion select, runes, builds. So Tenacity and Triumph, I'm taking this game. Reason being, I need Tenacity against this Senna and Morgana, but I also have to build Ninja Tarbs against this very heavy AD comp. Is Nunu a good pick this game? Absolutely. I have a Zed, I have a Renekton. These are great champs I can utilize. Have strong laning phases I can utilize with my W ganks. And I have a Zera, so I'm going to be building Knight's Vow because he's not going to be building Knight's Vow. So I can use that for my Misfortune, Zed, Renekton. Mainly Misfortune based on team fighting. Okay, so jump into the early game here. We go do an invade. This is one thing to learn as well. I learned from this VOD. Don't ever invade on Nunu. You never want to start W. You always need Q. Invading is just going to suck with Q. And what forces me this, I actually want a level 3 gank top, impact top with my Renekton Darius lane, which is good to get my Renekton ahead. And now I can't do my level 3 gank strategy ward, which we've talked about in the jungle paths. And I even tell my team I want a level 3 gank top. But I always want to switch out to Red Sweeper Trinket. Okay, and then this is actually another thing that goes wrong. Darius actually pushes my Renekton out here. They actually do some heavy trading, but I'm very scared now to start my red because Darius maybe has this warded. He might come with the jungler and mess me up here. So I actually decided to start my Raptors, which is not ideal at all, but you need to adapt to the situation as a jungler. Couldn't risk starting red, but they didn't take my red, which was good. Red, Krugs here. I'm banking. I'm pretty sure he hasn't warded try here based on the way he's moving and stuff. Sometimes good to read the enemy body language. So walk up here, look for a gank, do a full drift mode here. I believe he flashes, but he still dies. Didn't even need my snowball. I didn't even get an assist for that. Now walk into river here. And I do need to be very careful of Graves, and I should have been way more wary of Graves and his damage, especially the fact that mid's missing right now. So I agreed for this Rift Scuttler, and I actually realized I actually don't even have the damage. I literally hit it on 3 health, so I mess up that there. Have to burn my flash. This is the beginning of the end. So greeting always ends poorly. I give Graves is now level 4. He's got the Rift Scuttler. Very, very bad early game for me already. Come straight bot here. I greed for another Rift Scuttler down here. He tries to double Rift Scuttler me. Again, no mid priority. This is very risky and dumb to do this. But I feel so far behind, I feel like I have to do this. I do take it. But I do eventually die for this as well. I mean, Graves is just pumping me right now. Morgana flash Qs. I have no flash. There we go. Dead again. I'm level 3 at 4 minutes 30 seconds. And now I'm just like, okay, I've lost all my bot side jungle. Maybe I can do something to top here, so I go straight top. No reason for me to go there. Now my Renekton's dead. And I definitely can't kill this Darius here. So I don't know why I'm still chasing this. I just back off. I need a farm. I'm so far behind. Okay, now I do my Krugs. And the worst thing about that, I broke the #1 rule of jungling. I talk about my channel all the time. I show it on the map and I've done nothing. And sometimes when you start making bad decisions in games like I've done, you just keep making bad decisions. It's a very bad habit here. I've lost Dragon here. Not good at all. Raptors. Okay, so this is where I'm like, alright, I have to do something. I'm level 4 at 6 minutes 20 seconds now. Zed's level 6, maybe we can do something. Maybe we can utilize this combo. So I'm coming mid, doing my snowball, but he's very far away here. He saw me coming, he emotes me. But so we actually don't burn anything there, and he gets away. So still not good ganks here. Still pretty forced. Luckily my Renekton's actually turning that lane around a bit. Now I'm looking to gank bot. But Wave's in a very bad position here. Super forced. I mean, Morgana's very hard for me to gank, and Morgana is one of the champs that is on my do not play, ideally Nunu into champs. Level 4 at 7 minutes. Okay, so this is where we start turning around. And this is again showing you the power of this Nunu plus AD mids, AD tops power right here. So I'm level 4. I have just a skirmish to say, but I see Graves. I have Aftershock here. I'm going in. Zed's here to roam down. I use my W there in terms of an extra knock up there. There's Zed. Gets a kill. We burn Graves' flash. He gets the red buff. So this is, we're starting to get back into the game. Using Zed as a win condition. And again, that power of that 2v2, so strong. Even though I'm that far behind. Alright, so now I realize I need to start really getting back into this game. I need some farm, do those camps, buy my Barmy Cinder. Potentially could have bought 2 controls, but I actually bought 1 control ball there because I'm so far behind. I really just decide not to worry about it. I need to get my Cinderhawk, my items as soon as possible. Okay, so come down here, looking for a repeat gank down here on mid now. So this is it. Again, using Zed win condition. This is my win con. So come down here and we burn the Yas flash, I believe here. Burn his flash. Great. We can re-gank this. This is awesome. This is my win condition here. Can't gank bot. Top's very hard for me to gank. Remember, Darius is a tank buster here. So we see Graves top here. Charge up my snowball, trying to do a bit of a run. I'm not level 6 here, so I really didn't want to fight this anyway. I just need to back off there. Probably wasted a little bit of seconds there, which does count in terms of just cancel the snowball. Nothing we can do. Tell my Zed just to reset here. I just need to get level 6 farm my camps up. I'm playing catch up constantly in this game. And bot lane actually dies here as well. Oh no, Xerath actually gets that kill. Nice work, Xerath. We lose Rift Herald there, so we've lost Rift Herald and Dragon. Okay, come in again for a repeat gank on mid. Remember, he has no flash. This is my time to shine with this Nunu Zed combo and this power ganks. Again, the airplane tank off mindset right here. He's committing right now, but he actually dodges that out, so I just start up my E, but nothing we can do. Nothing you can do. Again, power of this combo. I even missed my W and just E. Remember, you start Eing straight away, you cancel it, get the lockdown. I didn't even have to use ult there. So coming to potentially defend top here. Get my snowball going. I really just sort of want to scare them off here, I think. But they didn't get Tower Rift Tower, which is great. Great for us. So we killed Darius there, which is good. Graves actually pops my Renekton there, and I'm just like, well, I have no damage now, so I run away, but my Zed's coming up now top. So I try and bait a little bit more, get my W charge. I'm just trying to bait it, so I just go in there. I really wasn't no intention to go in on that W. Again, just to force Graves, like, hey Graves, you know, come get your shiny little toy here, and sort of just juke him out. Alright, now I'm telling Yas, my Zed, we kill mid again. We keep killing mid. This is our win condition. My Zed's becoming very strong now, which is great. I accidentally buy a... Wait, I should be selling this item. What am I doing? Can I undo that? Oh, I don't think I could undo that. So I actually just wasted some gold there. I bought the mana regen item. Looking bot here, just seeing what's up, seeing what sums are burned in case I want to come down here later. But they just keep trading kills down there. Xerath is doing well, but my Misfortune ADC is not doing too well, which is not ideal. Especially that's the person that I'm looking to potentially Knight's Vow. Alright, look at this patience. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Yas to show on this any wave. But he never shows. So now I'm looking just to roam down with Zed. Me and Zed are just got this roaming combo. Me and Zed are going to make plays with each other constantly. And this is what you want to be doing around your win condition with these AD mids. But they died too quickly, so we back off. And now I'm looking to actually do a bit of a loopity-loop round here. I'm thinking we can 3v3 this very convincingly. So going in right here, they turn on me pretty quickly. Zed's actually pretty far away. I get knocked up there, so I get yes ulted. And I do die there. We do lose Dragon, but Zed's getting these kills. So pretty ambitious 3 versus 4. Potentially could have played that a little bit better. Maybe should have been with my Zed, but I think Zed actually gets a flush Q here and we get another kill. He's still popping. So still good. I sacrificed myself for Zed. That's whatever. We keep on getting him ahead. He even says he thought he could take Dragon there, which would have been really insane. Alright, go top. Just playing some catch-up experience and gold. I mean, so the way as well that you need to think about it, whenever Zed needs to base, that's my time to farm. Whenever he's on the map, that's my time to look to lane gank and start pressuring. So I'm always using the opportunity. Okay, Zed, I'm only making plays in this game with Zed. That's my mission. No one else is strong on my team. I mean, Xerath's doing okay, but like Xerath's not a person you want to be playing around with Nunu, because Nunu doesn't synergize with poke slow mage champions, remember? Alright, so farm. Hanging around my Zed. Zed's hanging around me. We're a good little duo here. Nothing we can do bot. He resets. No, he doesn't. Looking to gank mid. Yas doesn't show on the wave here. So, again, no reason to force this. I need to make sure Yas is committing. Yas was committing before I commit to Ws. But again, look at my patience. I'm just waiting for the opportunity. Here it is. Let's go. Zed has ult. And, I mean, look at this distance we close here. And we actually kill him there as well. Unfortunately, Graves rocks up at that perfect time. But if he didn't show up there, I mean, look at how oppressive those ganks are. He was so far away and we still pulled that off. So unfortunately, Graves gets a double kill there. I mean, he's playing pretty well. Can't deny that. So waiting to come back out of base. We lose mid tower, I think, for that as well. And Renekton dies again. But Xerath is actually playing pretty well here. Right, come in top, just to check my camps, but again, around Zed. We see Darius up here, or Graves and Darius, but they are pretty damn strong right now. I'm 2 levels behind Graves, so I still need to just back off and play around Zed and play when they're least not expecting Ws. That's the most important thing with Nunu snowballs. As soon as they start, I never want to skirmish in a fight, and that's the thing, again, how important Nunu Ws are. I never want to skirmish in a fight like that. They know that I'm coming here. I don't have a run-up of W. That's not a favorable fight for me. I need to be engaging with my Ws. That's when Nunu is strongest. That's when he's played most effectively. Alright, we pick up another kill on Yas there mid. Ping in Rift Herald now. Again, I'm with my Zed. Whenever I'm with my Zed, good things happen. Like this. Play around my Zed. Again, playing around my Zed. We're going for a top play here. Red smite, ult. Run away. That is a dead Darius. So we're just this two-man just combo, just killing everything. Graves is killing my team, but me and Zed are getting really strong. So I say need this dragon here. But I think that they do just be able to get this too quickly. I don't think we can contest. I just need to run. I can't get this. I can't even Q smite it. I'm just pushed out. Unless my Renekton Zed get here on time, but okay, no, I actually force the... And this is the good thing again about a tank and Aftershock. I just waste so much of their time. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to go on this. Come fight me, Graves. And bait him down here now. Zed goes and actually kills him now. Now we get this dragon. So this is really big for us again. These are the opportunities getting back into the game. So I created that for my team. Wasted Graves' time. Really good to get Mountain Drags. And that's the other thing as well as Nunu. A quick tip. Mountain Drags are amazing for Nunu. You're obviously building tank stats that amplifies your tank stats. So whenever you think about Mountain Drags, really try and get those. They're really, really good for Nunu. So do my Gromp, do my Wolves. Now looking for Rift Herald. But do need to be careful. Remember on the map. Where's my Zed? Where's my Zed? Play around my Zed. So I decided not to do Rift there. Just play it safe. Do my Raptors. Now coming down for another lane gank mid. Looking to catch someone out with my Zed. But I don't think there's anything we can do here. They see us coming from a mile away. Alright, doing a bit of camping here with my Zed. Looking for a pick on the Graves here. I was thinking about ulting in over the wall there, but I don't think we would have killed him anyway. Alright, dodged that Morgana Q, but that's great. I mean, we've forced Graves out, which is good. Gives us some mid pressure here. Lets us control top river. Okay, so I actually build... I just realized as well, I build Deadmans and then I build Knights. I think the reason I did that was because Misfortune was so far behind. I felt like I didn't need to worry about it until later on. But I mean, I still should be thinking of using it on Zed. So I think I still should have gone Knights. This is an item build error. I do eventually build Knights, but I build it after my Deadmans. Again, I just think it's such a good item for damage and stuff. And I feel like we really, me and Zed, just sort of just want to be, again, 2v2 in people. And I don't feel like Knights is going to help us that much. Knights is better for team fighting, again, with your ADC. I'm not thinking about playing around my Misfortune. Alright, so, looking to collapse on this Darius with my Zed here. He's pretty overextended. Do need to be careful about Baron. Always, at this stage of the time, think about, okay, it's 20 minutes. I'm a jungler showing on bot. But we do have a lot of control up here, so I'm actually pretty happy that they're not going to be able to Baron by the time we can kill this Darius. They're not in position to. If they're already on top with in position, then it would have been hard. Okay, looking to potentially catch these guys out here. They're pretty overextended. But we need to push out mid-wave, so no point chasing this further. Renekton gets some pressure bot, gets the bot tower. I'll look for Rift Scuttle. Just setting up this next dragon. Definitely trying to deny any sort of dragon soul for the enemy team. So just camping here, placing my control wards, making sure we're getting mid-priority. Always very important for when you're setting up objectives like dragon and Baron. Alright, so one thing about this, okay, I'm not playing around my Zed, so this could go wrong. So I'm sort of just wasting their time waiting for my Zed. As you can see, I'm actually doing be careful pings because I need Zed in these fights. He's like our strongest member. I need to be playing around him. So this is actually a pretty good ward here. Now Zed's flanking, which is perfect for us. Go time. I get gripped in by this Darius here. Zed unfortunately does die, but we still clean up, which is good. And we're going to get the second mountain, which again is just amazing. Mountain dragon maps are awesome. Get second dragon. I do give blue to Xerath there. He's doing pretty well. I definitely don't need it. And now it's literally just set up Baron. Okay, what actually happens to this skirmish here? So Xerath's actually just doing a lot of work. He's just pushing them out here. I didn't even do anything this fight. Team's doing really well. Zed's just popping center and stuff right now. So look at this. I'm just peeling. I even use my ult to peel the Zed. And literally in their base right now. Okay, this is actually pretty risky. We shouldn't be doing this. Zed's not around. He needs to push top. I think I literally just decide to back off and let my team die. I can't die. If I die, we lose Baron. So they're actually on Baron right now. Don't think we're going to make it here in time, I don't think. Almost gets that Baron. But he's just so fed. He cleans up here. No, he doesn't. He still dies. Okay, so unfortunately lose the Baron there. I just turn straight on this Darius here. Again, when you're fighting, like, you can't just go and just solo people. Again, always peel back to your team. Play as a team. Peel. Absolute 0. E. My misfortune's actually starting to get back into the game now, which is good. So we get in Hib off some of those kills. Looking for third dragon now. Zed's getting a really good flank off right now. And this is the perfect scenario. They're all trying to kill me right now. My Zed's just havocing on my team. I mean, you always have absolute 0 to just tank some damage as well. So you're very, very tanky with Aftershock, absolute 0. Pretty much full armor items here. Did a bunch more kills there. We don't think we can end. We just decided to get Dragon. We're too far away from the base. They can still clear. Use this opportunity just to take entire Graves, red side jungle. Do my Gromp, do my Wolves, reset to finish off my Knight's Vow. I'm actually building Randuins next. This is an item sort of later in the build when you feel like you're against heavy AD comps. And also, you want to slow people down. Like, the slow on Randuins is very good against champs like Yas and Graves. It's really annoying for them to kite and do their auto attacks when they're slowed. Again, peeling mindset with Nunu. Alright, so I pretty much just go straight for a W gank mid. This is what you want to be doing with Nunu at this stage. You can catch people out. They never expect these Ws. Potentially could have done a bigger takeoff, and I just started back off there. I got smoke screens, so I definitely don't want to be running blind with my W. But we get a pick there. Zed just kills Morgana, and we pretty much ace the team and end the game here. So yeah, this is a really good play from behind example I want to show. Again, going back to the champ select, going back to the theory here, why the only reason I was able to come back into this game is purely because I had a Zed, really. That's literally the only reason. Or like an AD mid. So hopefully, again, this is helpful, playing from behind example. We'll wrap up this video guide now with a Q&A, and that's going to be it for my Season 10 Nunu guide. So these are a bunch of questions from my community. Let's start off with the first question here. Haven't played Nunu yet, but really want to try him. Is he good at 1v1 in the early game? Short answer, no. I don't think there's probably one jungler in the game that you can 1v1. And you don't want to be doing that anyway. In terms of, you say, what do you think about his combat potential? Again, going back to the slide talking about champs he's good with, that's his combat potential. Playing with the Zed, playing with a Yas, Darius, Camille, these Renekton, early aggressive top laners or mid laners, AD champs. His combat potential with these champs is excellent. You're the engage, you take them off guard, you force them to burn flash, then your teammates can sort of follow up from that. I mean, really, if you think about Nunu, you're probably, in the early game, you probably have as much damage with Aftershock W, your E, and your Q to probably do about 40% of someone's health. And then you're out of there. Then you're running. You do all your abilities as Nunu. I don't think there's any sort of situation where I was auto-attacking someone death for a long time. You're just never going to win an auto-attack battle, especially against Conqueror champs as Aftershock. We'll love to hear some champ select tips related to him, like what type of team comps. Obviously, we had a big section on this, but I wanted to put this in here just to reiterate. And also going back to this previous question, avoid at all costs, like mage mids are not ideal, especially to gank for. And tank top laners. That's sort of what you want to avoid. And again, picking him with AD mids, AD tops, early aggressive laners that you can utilize to start ganking, start getting, putting out some sort of map pressure. And that's the important thing as Nunu. You can't just sit there and you do an AFK farm. You need to do map pressure. And you can only do map pressure with teammates that are strong, ideally AD. I mean, sometimes AP champs can work. I mean, like Salas, we did some examples in this guide here. Can still definitely work with him. Mainly it's all melee champs. Range champs, you don't really have a good time with. Is he a good invade at level 1? the buff opposite to where enemy started. So I briefly talked about this, and no, absolutely not. You want to start consume, and walking around with consume level 1, you're not very threatening. You're very useless. Most junglers you verse against these days have Conqueror and stuff like that. I don't think there's one game I ever level 1 buff invaded, ever. Your early game is just so weak as Nunu. So yeah, definitely we don't want to think about invading at all. What are Nunu's power spikes? Cinderhulk. Definitely Cinderhulk, or when you start getting your first items, like, I mean, Knight's Vow, I view that as a power spike. Again, it's a very cost-effective item. Get that. Deadman's is a power spike. I would never view Nunu as champion that, like, oh, you need power spike to fight. Like, if you're just getting good W's off, it doesn't really matter. I mean, good positions that I feel like I'm in is when I have Ninja Tarbs or Merc Treads and my Cinderhulk, then that's when I feel really strong. His Q heals him just like Warwick's W is. Like Warwick a good duelist early game? No. So Warwick can continue to do consistent damage, and his Q's on a low cooldown. Your Q's on a pretty hefty cooldown as well as your W. Yeah, going again back to this question, definitely a very weak duelist early game, but again, with the right champions, you can make him work in 2v2, 3v3 situations. Would Conqueror work on him? Absolutely not. You get kited way too easily as Nunu. Your objective is you're going in with your W, getting your Aftershock off, and getting your abilities off, and that's it. You never want to be in. If you're in the extended fights as Nunu, you're going to lose. There's better Conqueror champs that are much better than you with auto attacks than Nunu. I'm very rarely, again, going back to what I was saying before, auto attacking in fights. Other cases where Predator is better than Aftershock, not anymore. I think that Predator, I just think Aftershock's just too solid on him. I just wouldn't be going Predator. I mean, obviously, it's going to help your early ganks, but you are going to struggle in terms of like mid to late game. You're going to be very sort of squishy there. I mean, Predator's very much all in on early game, and I think that your W is strong enough and it's fine. You don't really need Predator. I mean, obviously, it would help, but if I wasn't running Aftershock, then the lock-in mindset would actually be a lot weaker. Yeah, I don't think you could pull off a lock-in mindset because really you're trying to play for the early game with Predator. I find that hitting Nunu's R is really hard. How, when, and where should I use it? So, ideally, you're waiting for enemy team to use CC abilities like Thresh, Flay, like enemy champions that can easily interrupt you. In terms of AoE CC, try and force them to use them first. If not, I mean, Nunu's R, I sort of view it as sort of like a finishing move. It's like they're running away and you sort of just use it to pick them off. I use it as when the enemy team's on me, I just use it for the shield. I mean, getting a full R off is very rare. The other thing as well is like, okay, you're peeling your enemy ADC. They're using all their CC abilities and stuff, trying to kill the enemy ADC, and then you just walk in and just R, slow them, use it as a peel ability. So that's sort of how you want to be thinking about using your R. The enemy out-ganks me, is it normal or doing something wrong? Okay, yes, you're definitely going to get out-ganked if you don't use your W's correctly. And also, I mean, this sort of is problem solved with the level 3 gank, and this is why I love it so much. It's like, well, you're already doing a gank pretty much before the enemy jungler can, or around the same time, or look for that counter gank. But, so yeah, I think that the level 3 gank strategy really helps you not get out-ganked by the enemy, but it is still something you sort of need to deal with. But again, I think that level 3 gank strategy really solves that. Can I solo Drake at spawn? You can. Very sort of slow to take, but it is possible. I mean, ideally, I can't remember many scenarios where I solo drag. I think there was a couple, but you obviously want to set up drag a bit more properly with bot priority, get some kills, mid priority. Just make sure you're securing it pretty good. But again, getting objectives is very easy as Nunu with your Q smart combo. It's very hard for the enemy team to contest them when they're low health. Pretty much impossible. Alright, a bit more questions here. How to scale as Nunu when the enemy jungler in front of you is aggressive? Pretty much and this is going back to the lock-in mindset here. So, I mean, this is actually let's bring it back in terms of ignoring that. How do we actually even get off a good early game? So, the way you actually deal with aggressive early junglers is, I mean, you need to sort of track their path. You need to think about where they start in and where they're going to be looking to gank. It's like that example of, I had a Jace on my team, I was playing Nunu, I just looked for the counter gank. I knew his jungle path. He was going to do red, blue, gromp, and then gank top. So, tracking enemy jungler, again, just denying their early ganks. That's all you can do. And that can be you just being there. You don't have to fight them. or just tracking either through pings, letting your team know that they are there. I mean, obviously sometimes your teammates are not going to listen to pings, but this is all stuff that's going to limit. You really need to think about minimizing early game against aggressive early game junglers. And I mean, in terms of, you know, if you're more specific here, being actually in front of you, then you need to run away from people that are trying to invade you. Wait for your team. You definitely can't be going around soloing Lee Sins and Olafs and stuff. Is Protobelt good or not? No, Protobelt I would never take on Nunu. You're a full tank support. Don't worry about doing damage. Again, you want to be utilizing your tankiness with these, going back to the champs, like with the AD mids, the AD tops, they're your damage source. All you need to do is be that hard brick wall peel champion. You're going to be way too squishy with Protobelt. Don't need that at all. What are Nunu's power spikes? Should I play aggressively spam or just farm to scale? Okay, so we've obviously talked a lot about this in the guide as well. Aggressively, you can play aggressively, again, with the right champions. You can't go on solo missions as Nunu. You don't have the damage. And you're sort of pretty vulnerable. You don't have really any tools to escape outside of your flash. Like, you sort of have your W to ignore slows, but you can get CC'd out of that pretty quickly. Spamming ganks, like, I mean, you need to do some sort of pressure. The way I view Nunu is, I'm trying to do, again, going back to the locking mindset, around 2, 3, 4 things. I mean, max 4 probably. About 2, 3 things in terms of the early game, the first 7 minutes. I just need to make sure that those 2, 3 things are really thought through and they put out some sort of pressure. It's going to really help me, again, move into that lock-in mindset where after that, then I can really just farm and scale. Haven't played Nunu yet. Really want to try him. Is he good at 1v1 in the early game? Okay, no, we actually answered that on the other slide there. That's actually in their double. Okay, that's it for this Nunu guide. I hope you enjoyed. Again, join my Discord if you want to continue the conversation for Nunu, if you want to ask any further questions, but otherwise, leave your comments below. I answer all my comments. If you have any further questions, would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.